Hi friends, it's Marika Lake and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to give you a look inside my children's portfolio. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Just a little bit about myself. My name is Marika. I live on the west coast of Australia with my hubby Greg and our 4 children. I have Will, who's 13, Emily is 8, Cruz is 6, and little Jackson is 4 years old. And we have been homeschooling we're into our 3rd year this year of homeschooling here in the Lake House Homeschool. And so far, we've absolutely loving this journey. Today, I'm going to talk to you and show you inside my children's portfolio. And this is the portfolio that I put together to show my moderator when they come and do an assessment of our last year of learning. Now here in Western Australia, I know that it's pretty light on for reporting compared to the other states and territories within Australia. And so what I'm going to show you today is specific for me and my moderator in Western Australia. And I'm showing this video to you just so you get some ideas about how you could do it. I'm not saying that this is the only way to do it. I'm just showing you the way that I do it. I will, though, leave a link in the description box down below to the website My Homeschool. On there, she has got amazing information particularly for Australians, for each state and territory that you live in, what your expectations are for a homeschooler. She has on there how to get registered in your state, what's expected of you, and then a little bit about how to assess and report in that state as well. And I have found that information really, really helpful, especially when other people ask me and they're from a different state. I only know what to do in Western Australia. So I'll point you to that website and you can read that information yourself and it'll be really clear about what's expected of you in your state. Okay, enough of my chatting. Let me turn this camera around and actually show you one of my child's portfolios and the information that I put in there to this portfolio. I'm gathering this information. So at the beginning, it's actually the beginning of the year for me. When my moderator comes and wants to know what I've done in the previous year, I can get out this portfolio and I have all the information to show her what my children have been doing and how they have been progressing that last school year that we have done. So let's have a look. So this is my son Cruz's portfolio. Cruz is 6 years old and he is in grade 1. I'm just going to show you one of my kids' portfolios. They all have the same setup, obviously just a little bit differing information in there because they're in different grades. But this is Cruz's, and all I do is use one of these display books that I picked up from Kmart Australia, and it just has a clear cover on the front, and I've just got this print off with the letter C for Cruz on the front, and then I've written Cruz on the side here in chalkboard marker, and all of my kids have the same setup. Emily has one with an E on it, William has one with a W on, but I just picked, was just a free picture that I was able to find online. So this is what their portfolios look like. All right, so let's take a look inside. Okay, so at the very beginning here, I have this list here. This was the notes that I just made at the beginning of the year, the goals that I was working towards with Cruz. Nothing fancy, just on a piece of notebook paper, but I have just included that in the front there to remind me of what we're working on this year. And then I have this, this is from the student goals bundle. I will link this in the description box down below. If you've watched any of my videos before, you know I reference this a lot. And so this is from a student goals bundle where they've taken the Australian curriculum and put it into user-friendly language. And I've printed out the grade 1 level, which is for Cruz, and I just have it stapled here so that I can quickly look at this, and these are all the things that he should be working towards achieving or learning about this school year. And so I've just printed off the the checkbox section, and then you can go ahead and tick it off and write the date down each time you have reached an objective, or write any notes. So it just makes it easier to know how you're going and what you're working towards. So I always put that in at the front there. Now on this side here, I have included the scope and sequence for this is the 2021 school year. Now, when I do up my scope and sequence, I have one for the whole family. So all of my children are on here, and I've just highlighted the sections that are just specifically for cruzs. But I always do up a scope and sequence of what we're going to be doing that year, just basically what curriculum we're going to use, what books and resources or any excursions that I know, and I make a quick note of that. So when my moderator comes, I show her what I'm going to do for that following year. So each time my moderator comes, she's looking at what I've done in the previous year, and then I'll briefly tell her what I'm going to do in the next year. And so, that's the scope and sequence, the overall what we're going to do over the year. Then next I have this really handy document. Now this is the document that my moderator sent to me, that she wanted me to fill out some quick notes and send it back to her before she would come and have the moderator meeting with me. And basically this is the evaluation of the learning program report that she officially will type up. And everything that you have done during the year will get written onto here. It's a really simple sheet, as you can see. It's 3 pages, so it's page 1, page 2, and then this is the 3rd page here. So what I did is I printed off a blank copy and I've popped it into my child's portfolio. I've written his name here, and I fill this out as I'm going through my school year. So I'm filling out all the things that we have been doing and achieving, and making any notes so that when she comes to see what we've done for the school year, I have already completed all of the notes, ready to share with her what we have been doing. All right, so let's take a closer look. Now, this is from the Education Department of Western Australia. My moderator emailed this to me, and so I've printed it off and popped it in my file. If your moderator uses a similar sheet to this that he or she is filling out when they do their report or assessment with you, just ask if you could have a copy, and then you can do the same kind of thing. They can say yes, they can say no, but if you have a copy of the final thing that they use, and it'll just be easier for you to fill that out and be ready for when they come back to assess you. And so all it is here is I would obviously have this information filled out at the top, name, address, birth date, where the meeting's being held and who is there. And then it's my job not to do any of these things. They will take care of that. But I'm just making notes in these boxes here of what we've been learning. So they've broken it down into subject areas. So just across the top here, they have the kind of homeschooling that you may be. Are you Montessori? Are you classical? Are you Charlotte Mason? And that's just a tick box. Here we have English. And so all of the things that we've been using for language and literacy throughout the year, I will begin to make notes here of just the things that we have been using. So we're using Gather Round Homeschool. I've written the books that he will be using. We're using Reading Eggs. We're using Targeting Handwriting Level 1. And then as we go through our year, anything else that we use, I will make notes in here. Here we have progress, indicators and comments. So in this section, I will jot down notes of anything that I have been working towards. Do you remember at the beginning of my book, I had that list of goals? And this is particularly what I was looking for. So for cruzs, I wanted this year for him to really cement all of his letter names and his sounds. And so when we have achieved that, I will make notes in here that we were moving towards that and we have finally achieved that. So That's where this kind of list comes in handy. And so I'll make some notes there. This is maths, again, things that we have been using for maths, and again, looking for any indicators. So for Cruz, one thing we were looking for is we wanted him to actually be able to recognize numbers beyond 20. He was okay to 20, but beyond that, he wasn't okay. And so then I would be looking for that. And then over the page here, we have humanities and social sciences. And again, just listing here the things that we have been doing. We've had a museum visit, so I've popped that there. We've been using our unit studies. This one is science, listing all the things that we've been using and doing. And again, here are the excursions he's been on already. He's been to the zoo, to SciTech, to the WA Museum, and to Aqua, which is an aquarium. So we've written that down. And again, this is technologies, health and physical education, another language, he doesn't have to do that, and then the arts. I don't have to fill out this section, but that is super simple, just making notes of all of the curriculum, books and excursions that we have been going on. And then this section here is what I would fill out towards the end of the year, talking about progress indicators, things that we were working on, and how he went with that. Did he achieve that? And any extra comments that you have about their learning. Another idea that you could do instead of filling out the forms like this, you could just write up a term report that looks like this. It's really simple, and it's just a way for you to remember what it is that you have been doing during that term of school and any observations that you have made of your child's learning. So all I simply did here was just write, term report for grade 1, and then I listed down the learning areas and just wrote what it is that we may have done. So for instance, Bible, we're doing the More Than Words Bible curriculum and reading from the Jesus Storybook Bible. We have English here. We're using the letters and numbers from Gather Around Homeschool. We've done book 3 and 4. That's been completed. Starting to see good progress with letters and sounds. Continue to work through Reading Eggs program. Then we go on to maths, completed pre-primary level on Maths Online, working on Math Seeds, using the online program and worksheets, currently at question 50. So just going through, this is what we've been doing and this is where we're up to. And then this is just like a general comment at the end here. So it says, C is showing progress with learning letter, name and sounds. There are only just a few that he needs help with. We are ready to move on to learning how to read, and he has already shown me that he can read some 3-letter words, which is great for him. He's more interested in writing than he has been before and is asking to have lined paper so that he can write. He's becoming more independent with his work. We took swimming lessons. Again, he needs to have a go at completing stage 2 again. I can see that he is growing more confident in his swimming, and he even enjoys snorkeling as well. Page, just notes like that. So just almost like a report comment that they would get from school, just kind of noticing any areas that you've seen progress in or excelling in, and some things to work on. So kind of like a general comment for the term. So that's another simple report that you can put together so that you can tell your moderator what you have been up to and any of the great things that you have been seeing in their learning. So that's a couple of ways that you can write down the information that you have been learning throughout the school year to show your moderator when they come at the end of the school year and talk to you about what you have been learning during the year. And I find it very helpful to do this term by term, so I don't get to the end of the year and try and remember everything, so I know I will forget. So I feel I do it this way. I fill this out as I am going and write down any notes of great things and progress that I'm seeing. I fill that out each term as I'm going, and by the end of the year it will be all completed, ready to show my moderator. And then the other things that I have in my portfolio are just some few work samples that show progress in these learning areas. So on the next page here, I just have this sheet. I have turned it around because it has personal information on there, but I include any notes from any other services that we go and see. So Cruz is going to see someone for speech. So any notes from speech pathology you can put in there. If your child was seeing an OT or a counsellor, you might want to include notes in their portfolio. I've also got here all of the scope and sequence from the unit studies that we have been using. In unit studies, lots and lots of different things get covered. And so I've included all of the scope and sequences from the unit studies that we have been doing from Gather Round Homeschool. And I've just popped them in here. So at a quick glance, we can see all of the things that have been covered. I also keep any records that I have collected along the way. So for math, we do use an online math program, which is great because they give us a printout of learning. You can print this out at any stage and it will give you the results that they have achieved. Obviously what they're working on, they will give you the results and the date that was achieved. And this document is dated as well. One thing I do recommend if you have any work samples or printouts that you put dates on them. And so this is for halfway through the year, and then I'll print it out again at the end of the year, and it's got all of the results written there. I also have just some few work samples for Cruz. Now we were really going slow and working on basic things with Cruz, and at the beginning of the year, this was in February, I just did this basic kind of assessment. I was looking at, does he know his numbers, how to write them and put them in the right order. So I did this in February, and then I did this again later in the year. So this one is for July. So I can, this is showing progress. So this is a great work sample. So I have what he was doing at the beginning of the year, and then halfway through, I can see that he has improved because he can now not get it completely right, but doing better than he was at the beginning of the year. So that's a great way to show progress. You don't have to do that for every single thing. Just pick a few things that you're really working on that you've told your moderator about and grab a work sample that can show progress. So something easy like this, I've got it dated. He did one at the beginning of the year and then halfway through, and then we can do it again at the end of the year to see how he is going. I've also included these really beautiful pages. This is a reading log. Now I grabbed these reading logs from our curriculum. We do Gather Round Homeschool, and they've included a reading log in every student book that you get. And so what we do is we make notes of the books that the children are reading and pop them on these reading logs and put them on our portfolio. When my moderator comes, she wants to know how they're going in language and literacy, how they're going in math, and what books are they reading and how's their writing going. And so that's why I keep a collection, I'll keep a list of all the books that they are reading. So books that they have had me read to them and books that they have read themselves. So Cruz, these are all the books that I have read to him because he is not reading on his own at this stage. And so I just list them down. So far I've got 2 pages of the books that I have actually read to him. So that's another great thing to do, especially for older children who read a lot. And sometimes it's hard to keep track of what they are reading, but the moderator loves to know what kind of books they are reading. And so you can get them to make their own list as they're reading and then pop that list in your portfolio. Again, this is just another example of progress. So for Cruz, we are still working on identifying letter names and also the sounds of the letters. So this was just another work sample that I collected. I was going through each letter and he was telling me their names, and then I would give it a tick if he achieved it. And then I just have done this twice. So I did the red ticks are for the beginning of the year, the black ticks are for the middle of the year, and then I can go ahead and see if he is achieving any progress. So this is just a backup, me saying yes, he is progressing, and I can show you, and it's helpful for me too because I can see his progress as he's moving through. Collecting writing samples is really important as well. And so this is me collecting writing samples. I basically for Cruz just gave him a piece of paper and said, write as many words as you can. And I've made sure that I have popped the date on there each time he does it. If you have older children, you might collect their writing projects that they have been working on. So writing, I know, is one thing that my moderator always asks me about, how they're going with their writing. And so collecting work samples for that is really, really great. Collect a work sample at the beginning of the year, pop a date on it, and collect one every term. And then you can show the learning and the progress that they have achieved throughout the year. And so I have these pages here for Cruz. He does have these writing sheets, but I also have these ones. As I said, he's not independently writing at the moment. And so these are story sheets where he tells me a story and I write the story down and he illustrates a picture. And I have got a whole bunch in here that he has been doing, everyone dated, so that I can see how that is going. Just because he's not writing yet. These sheets have taken out of the curriculum that we are using, so it's nothing that I can kind of point you to, but you could simply do this on your own piece of paper. And you can see even just simple, like this was a really simple story that he told at the beginning of the year, and then moving through the year, he's able to elaborate more as well. And so this has been really great for him to keep as writing samples as well. Okay, so I had samples from maths, I had reading, I had writing, and that's pretty much all of the work samples that I keep. I don't keep a work sample for every single subject like history or social studies or anything like that, but you can do that, collecting work samples through the year. I just have a running list of what it is we've been studying for history and things like that. But I also include in here any certificates as well from any sport, swimming lessons, any extracurricular activities that we have taken place. I pop those certificates in here as well. So other things that you could add into your portfolio that I haven't, you could take photographs of the excursions that you've been on. You could get your children to write about the places that you visited. You know, if you went on a trip to a zoo and you took photos, you could include some photos and they could write like a diary entry about going, simple things like that. Again, collecting different work samples through the different terms for the extra subjects like for history, social studies, and things like that. But for me, I've just collected the bare minimum. I have my running report of what we've done through the year, and I've collected work samples throughout the year to show progress. And that is what your moderator is looking for. They want to see your students' progress throughout the year. And so this simple portfolio has been a really great way to show my moderator all of that. Thank you so much for watching my video today. I hope that you found that helpful. Please, if you have any questions at all, just leave a comment in the comments box down below and I will answer you as best as I can. And if I can't answer you for your state, I'll point you to someone or to somewhere who can help you with your question. Again, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye.